In this video, I'm going over functions and function notation. The definition of function is a relation from a set of inputs to a set of possible outputs, where each input is related to exactly one output. What does it mean? For example, we can assume that a function is a factory. Let's say this is a factory. This factory gets input like 5 when inside of the factory, and something happening inside, and the output of 5 will be 25. So this 25 is related to this 5. 25 is output, 5 will be input. Another example, 4 when inside of this factory, so the 4 will go inside of some recipe, and 4 will pop up as 16. So this 16 is the output of 4. There's nothing to do with the 5. 5 and 25, they have something in common, but 16 related to 4. If 10 went inside, then we getting hundreds. So 100 will be output of 10. So there are so many questions that we can ask here. One of the questions, if I give you guys a function, for example, let's say this is a function, I can ask you guys what is the input and what is the output. So let's make one example. I'm gonna make a small factory here on top of the mountain. We have A, but inside we will get 4. B, when inside we get 8. C, when inside we get 12. So if I tell you guys this is a function, so I will tell you guys this is a valid function. What is the input? So we know this is an input, so that because we are inserting the inside of the factory, so this will be input. We will write it as A, comma B, comma C, and we have to put it in the bracket. So this will be the input, and usually we show also we call the input, we call it domain. So instead of asking you guys what is the input of this function, I can ask you guys what is the domain of this function. So you will list the input. And what is the output? So the output will be 4, 8, 12. I cannot leave it like this on the air. I have to put it inside of the bracket. So this will be output. They also call it range. So range of this function will be 4, 8, 12. Sometimes they ask us what is the relation between input and output. That's the kind of complicated question. For example, for this example, there is no way we can say how A become 4 and how B become 8. So I just made the example. But in previous example in here, we see 5 become 25, 4 becomes 16, and 10 become 100. We see that inside of this function looks like it multiplied by itself. Or to to the power of 2. Like a 4 squared is 16. 10 squared is 100. So this is a relation between input and output. All right. Now, now let's say we have a function here. I should draw better, but we have 1, 2, 3 become 10, 12, 13, and 2 become 15. So the question is, so now I'm not going to ask you guys what is a domain and what's the range, or what's the input and what's the output. So you can see that 1 went inside become 10, 2 went inside become 12, 3 went inside we got 13, and 2 went inside we got 15. So now my question is, can I call this factory a function? So the question is, determine whether a relation represents a function. So not all the factories that gets input and output represent a function. This is not the function. Why is not the function? Because this 2 went inside of this factory, got 12 back, and another person put 2 inside, they got 15. So this contradicts the definition of the function. So this is not the function. If it's not the function, so you should not worry about the domain and range. Usually they ask you guys what's the domain and range if the relation is a function. Let's have another example. So instead of drawing a factory, instead of making a factory like this, which takes time, I can just make a table like that. I'm going to put X and Y. So don't freak out. This X, that means X going to go inside, and the output is Y. So usually they show it on this type of table. I have 2, 5, 8, 9, and 5. And we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the question is this a function? Yes or no? In order to answer this, we only look at the domain. We only look at the inputs. 2 went to the inside of the factory, the output is 0. Good. Happy. 5 went inside, we got 1, another happy smile. 8 went inside, we got 2, nothing is wrong. 9 become 3, then 5 when we got 4. So this makes it not happy smile, because this 5 went inside got 1. For example, somebody paid $5, got 1 cookie. Another person went paid $5, got 4 cookies. So definitely we need to shut down this factory. That means this is not a function. Let's have, so this was no to this one. Let's have one more example, and then that would be it for this video. We have a factory. I'm going to call it X and Y. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This went to 5, 5, 5, and 5. So now my question is, can we call this one a function or not? And the answer is yes, this is a function. 1 went 5, okay? 2 went 5, 3 went to 5, and 4 went to 5. We don't care how, but if the output repeated, we are okay. But the input should not repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, none of the numbers repeat. So this is a function.